Hi everybody. Today is Friday, September 7th, 2018. We're going to talk a little bit about bottling up honey and cut comb. Once you've got it harvested, now remember, when you pull the frames out, it's important that they are at least 90% capped. If you want to get really technical and be really sure, you can buy a refractometer. All the bee supply houses sell them. You can pick them up on Amazon. Now, any names that I name here, I'm not a paid endorser for any of them. It's just what I have, kind of pointing you if you want a direction. But this here, you put a drop of the honey in there, you look up through the light, and you look through this little lens, and it'll show you and tell you the moisture content. Honey should be bottled at no more than maybe 14 or 15% moisture. If you've got frames that are like, just barely capped in the middle, and all that nectar is still wet, they say to give it the shake test. I've seen a video the other day of somebody bottling up and it was running out like water. That's not good. Honey should be thick. And you can ask if you buy honey from somebody, hey, did you check the moisture content? But anyway, somewhere 12, 14% is acceptable. If you want to get into cut comb honey, they sell these fancy little cutters. Throw it away. Use this here on your frame if you have a natural frame that you either just put one single sheet of special cut comb foundation or let them draw it out themselves, and they've got this beautiful frame of all drawn out, capped. What you can do is take this and just score it, and then a cheap knife from the cheap little dollar store or something like that is the best thing to cut it with. Or if you just want to put different chunks in jars. Here, sometimes I like to just do, this is called chunk honey. It's a special treat. A lot of people, I'm surprised, have never seen or heard of it. But anyway, a couple products here. Here is a beautiful display box. These boxes come, it's funny because nobody seems to put together a perfect package. They make these kits where you're going to put this box on the hive and the bees are going to make this cut comb honey. You don't cut it, you just put a cap on it and a sticker and it's good. You've got all the propolis on it. It's just, this way you take the frame, you select out the perfect pieces, you cut it yourself. These boxes come from Dadant. Then you have to go to Better Bee and get these hog half comb stickers that go on here and seal it up. It's like it was made for it. However, they're completely designed, but it works perfectly. So it's a nice sealed product, tells you what it is. They come in both colors. So there we are with that. Now,
what are both colors?
Blue and red. Now for bottling, you've got your honey extracted, whichever method you use. You don't have to buy a bunch of fancy equipment. If you're bigger and you got a bunch of frames, you do. You go ahead and get you an extractor that's going to spin them out. You can pick them up. Any of the bee supply houses, Amazon sells them. Take your pick. Once you've extracted it and you've strained it, you want to run it through you can just use a single kitchen strainer, stainless steel. Get rid of the cappings, the wax cappings that are on there. Let it settle in a settling bucket. This bucket has this little spout on the bottom. The idea here is that what you do is if you let it sit for a few days, anywhere from a day to a few days, the wax particles, the small pieces, will float to the top. Otherwise, if you bottle it up right away, it's all going to come up and be in the top of your jars. It looks like a foam. It's just simply the wax cappings of what didn't get filtered out. Now, some people want 100% unfiltered, raw, natural honey. If that's what they want, let them have it. But just for a neat, nice product, you can let it sit in here for a few days. Then you simply, in the top, you'll have, this has already been taken care of. The little bit that's left, that's after you take a spoon and you just real lightly scrape off and take off any of that, what appears to be foam. It's simply the wax at the top. So now at this point, what's in the bottom is everything settled, and when you pour it out, here comes the satisfying part. Now, if your honey runs out so bad that you need a jar or a bowl underneath it, either you're going too fast or your honey's not dry enough, it's too much moisture content. So we simply take the jars, loosen this up a little bit, and then we just simply raise the gate valve and let it come out. Get it to where it's close, start slowing it down, give it a little more, bring it on down. Now, we push that back on there. We don't need to tighten this up too, just a little bit, just enough. You got that last little bit. Nobody likes sticky jars. Sticky jars are terrible. Even if you're giving them away, if you try and sell them, nobody wants sticky jars. Watch that little bit. You can kind of bring it up. If your honey's nice and thick, you're going to have a little bit of that. Watch for that last little droplet, and then just do a quick exchange. Boom. Your next jar's under there, ready to go. I just simply put a paper towel on the floor, and anything that runs down and drips, it's such a small amount, it might end up being a tablespoon or a teaspoon. I don't want to waste too much, but at the same time, I'm handling all of this stuff. My feet are in that area. I'm not going to collect the honey from down there. So, once again, the satisfying part. Look at that. Nice, this was springtime honey. Nice, light, golden color. Absolutely delicious. It's so satisfying watching that run out of there. Now we're going to watch for that droplet. And get the next jar ready. When that little string goes, you can kind of raise it and lower, kind of work with that. Get that off of there. Up here went a little drip. There comes one more. Now it's stopped. One more. Okay. Quick exchange. Boom. There's not one single bit anywhere except inside that jar. We follow it up and continue on. Typically, they call it technically in canning, as far as jars. You can buy, I personally like ball mason jars. I think they're a good quality product. They work well. I like glass because there's no chance of any chemicals being being put into your honey from the storage of them. Natural glass, clean, no problems. Now another option here, it's going to give it one more drip here. You can, now these are special. These come from Man Lake. Every bee supply house sells some form of all kinds of bottles, jars, containers. These are special. What's that chemical that everybody's going to? It's
BPA.
Yeah, BPA free style. These are BPA free. These are food grade plastic bottles. You got a smaller opening you got to worry about. There again, we don't want sticky bottles or jars. If by chance you do get one, I personally a nice, clean, brand new paper towel, dampened. If you do get a little bit on there, you can just, that dampened cloth will take it off. I use a paper towel because it's a brand new clean towel, sanitary. Use it for one or two wipes. If I need it, throw it away. Get a brand new clean one instead of trying to clean up something else. Now this one's a little tougher. Just hold it down. You just got to watch. Be a little coordinated. And try and keep that stream small enough that it's not going to run on the outside. You have to be patient. Take your time with it. Just keep an eye on it as you go. We want nice, not over full containers, but we don't want to be sending out containers that are, 1 inch from the top or anything. And just kind of watch it. I'm going to watch for that last little stream, last little bit to come out of there. Try and get it just right. There again, about a 1/2 inch from the top seems to be about right. Lock that down. Suppose for some reason you need to get up and walk away, you can tighten this screw down. Let it sit there for a minute. Yeah, once again, you might sacrifice a couple drops. There goes that last little bit. But a paper towel, you lose a couple drops, easy cleanup, toss it. There you go. So there's multiple options. Let's go ahead and do one here. We're going to take on this cut comb honey, this knife here. They're again a nice cheap paring knife. We're just going to go ahead and cut us, depends on what size jar you've got. Cut us a little strip here. I'm going to take this here. There again, if you've got a frame, whatever you feel like doing. Now I can come in and put this strip into this jar, or these pieces into there. That gets a little messy. I just go over to the sink and rinse my hands in between. I'll take them, put them in a jar, go wash my hands, come back and do more. Here's a couple jars that were prepared. Just a small little sample, little gifts. Come on in, we got the cut comb in there. Open up the gate valve. And that's it. For anybody that doesn't know about cut comb honey, it's natural wax. If it's done right, if it's harvested from during the nectar flow, when it's drawn out fast and quick, it's tender, it's white, it doesn't get travel stained. Something that's been sitting there that they've been working on all summer through the dearth. That comb, who knows what it might even have brood in it. You want to put it in the freezer, those frames, put it in the freezer for 24 to 48 hours before you're going to put it in jars. Just in case there would be some type of little, could be anything, whatever, any kind of insect possibly in there. By putting it in the freezer, there's nothing in there. It's pure, it's natural. That wax, you can just chew it up. You can just discard the wax later. You can chew on the wax. You can eat the wax. It's good for you. There's various micronutrients and different things in there that are good for you. And that's it. Bon appetit. Thanks for watching.